This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Miles an hour, that's a Category 4 hurricane. 3 deaths are reported in Florida after more than 24 were killed in the Caribbean. This
There's just one place to get our biggest discount on a 2024 Acura. Take up to $10,000 off. $10,000 off at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 Acura dealer in the USA.
Welcome to Caneswear.
New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield Home Security System guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
After
40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices. Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning, boys and girls. Yes, sir. Welcome aboard. It is a hump day. Did you get some Bitcoin today? Huh? Did you get some? Did you get some? Get some. Not a financial advisor, of course. Just won't tell you before that shit explodes next month. Anyway, hope you all are well. Man, it's Wednesday. I got to tell you something. The preseason went by very, very fast. What do you think, Alarmo? He agrees. He agrees. So after all that stuff, it's gone by really, really cool. Although I will tell you this, Sean, running routes today against Tampa Bay in practice, Berrios, Azukama, Malik, Schwartz, Jaquan Burton, and Tyreek McGowan. You get no Tyreek, which the coach addressed it today, and we'll play the video for you.
You didn't make the trek down there, huh?
Who?
You, I'm saying. Good thing you didn't go to that practice, right? Hey, McGowan caught a...
Yeah, riveting stuff. Although the good thing is that like a guy like Malik and Easy E, this is like, it's great for them because they're going to get like a ton of reps. You know what I'm saying? And so that's actually a really cool thing. That part is good. And it keeps Berrios fresh while he has a spot still because of everything going on with Craycraft and his injury. Unfortunately, but big stuff for Easy E and for Malik in these practices and in the preseason game because those guys need as much work as possible, and Azukama's got to kind of prove that he can stay healthy. So, not a great group of wide receivers practicing. In other words, today against. I mean, this is the third preseason game. You know, this is the game where you're saving most of your people. You're not really going to put out. They went and signed a couple of running backs, McFarland and the other guy, because they wanted to get through this week in the preseason game. And that's it. That's what those guys get to put it on tape, and it's good for them. It's a great opportunity. But for the Dolphins, they went and signed a couple of bodies to, because it's just you got to get through it. and Jaquan Burton's been moved to wide receiver, you don't want to, move the kid back to running back when he's kind of trying to prove himself as a wide receiver. So, it would be rude of that. And obviously Jaquan today is running routes today. So that's the right thing for them to do, right by him too in the process. We'll keep you updated on if anything. Again, I don't think this is a kind of practice. This is not really a sexy practice. So even if you went out there, you weren't going to really see the better players and things like that, because they got to save them, man. They got to look. Tyreek could practice if he wanted to and could play. Just like I think Waddle, if this was like a real game week, he would have taken the field. But he's a little dinged up. During the season, sometimes you got to suck it up and you got to do the best that you can. But at this point, there's you don't need to rush any of these guys. You need to make sure they're ready for the first week of the season. There's no reason. That's why, and I've been kind of the same here. Hey, it's late July. Hey, it's early August. I'm not going to panic about all that stuff. Let's wait till the regular season. Plus, most of these guys will be ready anyways. Waddle and Tyreek and Aaron Brewer and OBJ and all these guys, they're all going to be lined up for week 1. Unless there's some kind of a crazy setback, right? That's the only thing that could, possibly happen to them. And obviously that could happen in practice and the weight room and whatever, you know what I'm saying? But outside of that, you're really, it's Isaiah Wynn, the guy that you're really concerned about, and that you're going to have a different left guard. But Eichenberg is going to go back to right guard, and Aaron Brewer will be your starting center in week 1. So we got some stuff to talk about today on the show. Although, Sean, I will say, if we would have gone up to practice, at least I know I would have dragged your ass. I know you would have been fighting and screaming and stuff. But maybe I would have had to twist your arm a little bit to take you to Burns Steakhouse. So that is the positive. Now, I don't know if Furones drops the ball here, if he pulls a Sammy Smith and doesn't go to Burns Steakhouse. Well, then, that's on him. I can't, what can I tell you? I even gave him the ultimate tip to get a Chateaubriand, get that cut, because that steak is just so good. So good, so good, so good, so good. Anyway, so some stuff to talk about today on the show. No guests today. Today we're going straight with no guests. And we're back at 10 a.m. So it's nice to be back at 10 a.m. Training camp is done. Today's the last day, technically, of training camp in Tampa. This is the last practice. It's the worst practice of them all, actually. I saw better practice yesterday here than they will over there, okay? So that's a good thing. And so now that's it. My crazy schedule is done. There won't be that many afternoon shows anymore unless, it's Thursday that we're at Hialeah Park, and the second Wednesday of every month we're at Toyota of Hollywood, and I don't know if there's any other place that we do. I know we're trying to see if we're maybe at Caneswear next week, leading up to the UM game, and have some fun there at Caneswear, trying to set that up. But that'll be a morning show too. Although that one we could start an hour later now. We could start that one at 11. That way make it easy on them, because that's the time they open, and a little easier for us for traffic and all that kind of stuff. So all good in the hood, as they say. What do we got here? Don't forget, folks, please smash the hell out of the like button. Okay? Please smash the hell out of the like button. Don't forget, you can make a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Let's see. By the way, the Tyreek hand injury, if you're concerned, let's hear from Mike McDaniel. Sean, please pull up Mike McDaniel. Why Tyreek is not practicing today. And again, there's no need. I don't need to see Tyreek. He doesn't need to be out there. Him and Tua are just fine. I'm not worried. There's no timing issues or anything like that. Unfamiliarity, all of that. Don't need to wear the guy out. It's a hand injury. Let's hear from Mike McDaniel addressing it. By the way, credit to Joe Shad. That's his video that he filmed. And so just want to make sure I credit the people that deserve it. Joe Shad, this is his video as he filmed Mike McDaniel answering the Tyreek Hill question.
I had edited it. It wasn't Joe's video that I just put the audio. I gotta get that one up. I'm sorry. I edited it.
Whatever it is, fire away.
Can you please fill us in on everything you can about Tyreek Hill's apparent hand, wrist, thumb, something injury?
Yeah, I'm really good at thumb war. He lost. I think I kind of alluded to it with Jalen Waddle back at home, but there's certain situations where you're in training camp and you're practicing, and Tyreek could practice today. However, there's also times that because of the timing of where their bodies are at, kind of puts them at risk to get further injury. And so it's really from a medical standpoint, you're just trying to let something cool down so you don't have something happen at the expense of regular season games. So he's been very active, but we're trying to make sure there's nothing. We keep him out of harm's way.
So out today and Friday with the thumb.
He'll be around, but yeah, he won't be participating in team.
There you go. Now, he said he won't be participating in team, but you saw how Joe said out today and Friday. He tried to sneak that in there. That was Joe Shad, by the way. And so he just said, well, he won't be participating in teams. He didn't want to, throw out but of course he's not going to be in the game. It's the third game. There's probably no reason to play these guys. No reason to take any kind of risks, whatsoever. So not a big deal, but there you go. At least you've got the nugget of news that came out of the press conference, which is that one. That's about it. That's the one thing that kind of. Although it seemed like they didn't really ask him about Flores' comments, which I thought that was kind of weird that they didn't ask him about Flores' comments. Although he did come out and talk about how coachable Tua is, and he's always talked about that, how coachable Tua is. Oscar Rojas, I see, is number one, and Jamie Zoria. Thank you, as always, all of you out there checking in. Yes, Jay is surprised. Is it 10 a.m.? But training camp is done, Jay. Training camp is done. Thank the Lord. Trust me, it's not fun to do practice and then come and do the show and all that kind of stuff. And it kind of takes up all your day. And plus, going to a damn sweat box. God, you take a shower to then another shower in the middle of the day, and then you have to come back and shower when you're at home. It's like 3 showers because when you go to camp, it's a shower. Jesus Christ. So yeah, it's I'm actually glad camp is done and I don't have to go out there and sweat my ass off. Yesterday wasn't too bad. Yesterday wasn't that hot. That final day, it wasn't that hot. There was some overcast. It wasn't going to rain or anything, but there's still enough clouds where it wasn't as normally brutally hot as it is, and then they ran a portion like they have the last couple of practices inside, which again, great for us because we get to go inside and hang out in AC for a little bit, and then it's all over. So I am glad. Okay, I don't mind going to camp, but swamp ass is. We're good. We're good. We can avoid it. How are we doing in the markets right now? Huh? How are we doing in the markets? The Dow is, dude, it's barely up, like a fifth of a percent. The S&P is up just under 18 points, and the NASDAQ is barely up also, a tenth of a point. So right now, markets are not doing well. Bitcoin still holding. It's at 60,000 right now. It's up 1%. No big deal, but it's holding there in that 59, 60 area. It flirts with 61 a little bit, so it's kind of been in that zone right now. Again, accumulation zone is the way I look at it. It's kind of how I look at it. I just say, hang in there for me and let me keep getting a little nugget here and a little nugget there, a little nugget there, a little nugget there, and just keep building it up and all that good stuff, which is a beautiful thing. Don't forget, folks, you can also make a donation on the show, Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, which the Ethereum donations are picking up because, of course, it's actually a good time to invest also in Ethereum with the dip. So Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. That's another way to support our show. Let's see. We've been on several days of heat advisories. Can't blame you, Big O, for wanting it to be over. Also, let the players heal for the season. Yeah, I mean, it's not a big. I mean, they're still going to have to practice every day in that heat anyway. I mean, they're going to have practice, but I don't have to be there anymore. Now all the media gets now is 15 minutes every day of practice to go and watch them stretch. They don't see anything whatsoever. You see nothing. Nothing. The only thing you get to see is if somebody's not out there because they're injured or something, and that's about it. So you get to take attendance. I've been there. I've done it, and it's boring. You know what I mean? So that's whatever. That's the minutia of the whole deal, which I'm really, really glad I don't have to deal with all that little stuff. It's I've done it. I've already done that. I've done that many times for many years and had to do my share of that. Thank the Lord I don't have to do that anymore. But this is my favorite part. I get to actually watch real football, kind of. Not like I used to 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. That's a whole different ballgame. That's a different conversation. But at least I get to see something, in these couple of weeks. And fans get to see some too. Some of you fans that get to go out there, at least you get to see some of that stuff is better than the preseason games, actually. So that's why those of us that are football nuts, we kind of get to enjoy it. But after that, it's done. And dude, we're done. We got nothing. We're jonesing now until the games actually start. And then we jones again until training camp can roll around. Not mini camps and that silliness. That's nothing. But training camp is the one that, at least you get something out of it. Flores had a personal agenda. GM said, let's address something on one of many things that I have to address today. And in Flores's explanation yesterday and everything that went on, did you really hear an apology? You heard at least admission, right? But you really didn't hear an apology. You didn't hear a man that was truly sorry about how he treated several people, not just Tua Tagovailoa. You heard a guy talk about how he has to reflect and get better on it, and then some of you hook, line, and sinker fell for it. You just like, you really don't listen and watch what this person is manipulating in the process. He never really apologized. Never. And that's that it was like a weak and indirect trying to apologize, but not really apologizing, and not really just like lying completely on the sword. And this guy has been a phony from the beginning all the way till right now. And if you truly were apologetic, we had to wait till Tua actually talked about it. Like, I knew about it. We talked about it. We've gone through it, right? But neither party really spoke about it and talked about it and like come out, There was some stuff that Tua has let out, but like to really lay it out like he did. And then that's what it took to bring the guy out from under his rock. If he was really remorseful, Brian Flores, he would have called Tua that offseason, the following offseason, in the middle of the year, whatever. He would have made already, opportunities to reach out to Tua and others that he mistreated while he was here. If he actually gave a shit, for him to say player relationships mean something to me. Bullshit, dude. Bullshit. Because if they mean something to you, the problem is that your ego can't take it that you were wrong. Which, by the way, that's the beauty of all of this, is it gets to expose some of you phonies out there. The phonies that you hear, oh, do we got to keep hearing about this? Oh, move on. Oh, no, Tua's soft and this and that. Yeah, you want to move on from it because you're also part of the problem. You were the ones that kept also bashing Tua. And because you were backing Flories. Notice the correlation with the people that are doing those kind of things. Those are the people that back Flores. So they don't want to harp on this too much because they were Flores people. They don't want to harp on this too much because they're wrong about Tua. It's a beauty, man. So it just kind of you get to see different layers of it, and it just kind of exposes, It's like the Brian Baldinger video that you'll see of Tua's ball handling skills, and he explains it, right? He shows the play and all that kind of stuff, and it's fantastic. And then you see the comments, and this is, I'm glad Baldy's doing this, but the problem is there's a lot of people that think like this is something like, oh my God, this is a revelation. No, dude, it's a revelation to you because you continue to, doubt the kid. You want to doubt his durability? That's legit. He's broken down a bunch of times. But those of you that doubt the ability to play, you're not watching what's going on. He's that dude. He's got it. Now, all you got to do is block for the guy and let him do his thing. Let him cook, as they say. Let him cook. Right? So that's the beauty of this whole the dynamics of it all. And whether it's Baldy showing you a play and the people reacting to it or whatever, or the guy that wants to downplay the flow stuff, or my boy Perk, And he'll be with us on the post-game shows. And yesterday he was saying on he's talking about his article and going off on Twitter and saying how Flo maximized. Well, that's not true, actually. How did you maximize your roster if you didn't play the best quarterback? Can't do that. You can't have it both ways. So, I told him, I only have a problem with your statement. I don't care about styles. And, his argument was that his style maximized this. And I'll have something more on that later. But it's just one of those where, no, dude. If you're not playing the right quarterback, then you didn't get the maximum amount of victories. And if you go look at the totality of Brian Flores' victories, he got more victories because of Tua, not because of the other quarterbacks. But whatever. I mean, let's not leave out the facts, right? The guy that had the winning record is Tua, not the other guys. So, if you chose to play the other guys over him, if the second you decided Jacoby Brissett or Jabroni Brisket, the second you think Jabroni Brisket is better than Tua, you're not a good coach. You know what I mean? So to me, that's what I love about all of this, that it just kind of keeps exposing the people that were doubters and haters. And then they keep trying to hide behind that and go down that alley because they can't admit they're wrong. God forbid you admit you're wrong. Oh my God. Oh yeah, that's beyond me to admit I'm wrong. That's kind of it's a theme in our world nowadays. But what can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? It's an interesting thing that goes on in our world. Admitting that you're wrong. Hard to do that. Let's see, what else do we have here? Flores isn't apologetic about anything he did towards Tua or other players. He was creating excuses to not even apologize because the season's starting. Exactly. And he wants it to kind of go away because he can't want that to linger because that will hurt his so-called chances to be a head coach. And I just don't think anybody's going to hire him to be ever a head coach. Lenny says these haters need to be taught a lesson. Fins up. The play on the field will answer it all as time goes on and he gets better and the environment around him becomes more of a championship environment and all that, and he takes you to the promised land, and then most of them will shut up, and then there'll be a couple that will still make some kind of an excuse because they'll refuse to admit that they are wrong. So, that's how it is. Starting Jabroni Brisket in that Ravens game was criminal. No. Telling him that they didn't need him during the week. Go ahead, get out of here. We don't need you in practice. You're the backup. You're not even getting reps. Go play golf. He was playing more golf that week than football. And he comes off the bench and beats the Ravens. That's why I told you, don't worry about OBJ. Fucking Tua didn't practice all week with a terrible offensive line, with very little weapons against the Ravens. I think it was on the road, that game. And, he comes off the bench and saves the team's ass. And Jabron and Flo. I mean, that game alone was the pinnacle game that tells you everything about Brian Flores. Ray Grullon wants to say, hey, Flo, you still blow. You guys can make that a little drop now. Make it a little video and put it out there for folks. Cosa Nostra says, thank you, Big O, for pointing out how unapologetic Flores was. Tua doesn't need it, and we, the Dolphins, are grateful. Let me tell you about something else that it's a silly thing that I see it. There's a headline in the Herald that says, did Brian Flores leave, unrepaired scars or permanent scars? Did Brian Flores leave permanent scars on Tua? Yeah, no, asshole. He's only gone on to be in the MVP race for the next 2 years. All he does is continue to improve, be more confident, open. There's nothing that has affected that guy. What affects him is people that are trying to hurt him, his career. Of course, that's going to slow you down. If you have a coach that hates you, that's going to slow you down. That's going to bog you down, bro. If your father hates you, if your father just beats on you, if your father doesn't give a shit about you, that's going to beat you down, bro. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to come through and you're not going to survive and you're not going to, have a what's it called? A successful life. Lots of people face adversity and then they overcome it, dude. That's all. He was in Alabama. He won a championship, got a hip injury, now overcame it. Hell of a lot harder than Flo. And then he overcame Flo. And he's going to overcome the doubters, and he overcomes the ankle injury, and he overcomes the concussions and whatever. He does whatever it takes. That's what great players do. Great players attack whatever they have to improve on, and they achieve it. So whether it's his ball handling that, was fantastic, whether it's his eyes looking off people and manipulating it, whether it's him now trying to get his body in shape so he can manipulate the pocket a little bit more, his agility so he can move around, sling it a little faster, all of those kind of things. I mean, that's who this guy is. Yeah, he wants you to doubt him. He wants you, like I read where he went up to Jordan Poyer in practice the other day and said, hey, man, thanks for going hard in practice. He's not shying away from any challenges whatsoever. So if you think he has any permanent scars, or if you think he's soft, or like you're so ignorant at this point, and you can't see the incredible toughness this guy has mentally and physically. The entire world tells you you can't come back from a hip injury. And he fucking comes back from the hip injury to play right at the beginning of the season and gets slammed by Michael Brockers. And how are you going to play with a broken rib and a effed up nugget on the thumb, on the throwing hand, on the knuckle? How are you going to do that? Well, yeah, he's going to do it. He's going to figure out a way to do it. He got wobbled in the Buffalo game. He comes right back, tries to come back. It's just, that's who he is. So if you think that his dad beating on him, verbally, Saban verbally, Flores verbally, and he's still here, which it would have broken many, like Ryan Leaf. Ryan Leaf couldn't handle a fucking reporter's question. You want contrast? You want to see what is not being able to handle shit, where you like go completely haywire and you lose it? There you go. Sammy Smith fumbles a couple times, fucking guy loses it. Hell of a talent. Nick Anderson misses some free throws in the finals. Guy was never the same person again, dude. You people don't know what soft is. You people don't know what it is to crumble. You don't know what it's like to watch people that really can't come back from adversity. Like that, again, being old. Being old sucks because your body breaks down and all that kind of stuff. But the fact that I'm approaching, I'll be 58 in October 1st. I'm approaching 60 years. I've seen a lot of shit. It's all recorded here. I've witnessed it. I know. I know what heart and determination is. And Tua is all heart and determination, bro. He's Michael Chang against Ivan Lendl in the French Open, cramped up and finding a way to win. That's what it is. And Michael Chang wasn't the most imposing tennis player in the world. Ivan Lendl was. I know what a warrior looks like. And I don't judge them by their size or their speed or whatever physical attribute that's freakish. I judge them by their heart. And I don't know if I don't know how many people have a bigger heart than Tua. More guts than Tua, more character than Tua, toughness than Tua. Problem is, all of you measure toughness by, okay, you've got to be able to lift up a house, and then that's your toughness. I don't know. Ryan Leaf wasn't as tough as Tua. David Carr took a beating, didn't come back from that beating. Interesting. Took all those sacks and then never came back from it. He didn't break his hip. He didn't have a coach that hated him and told him how much he hated him for 2 years. I find this to be the most asinine conversation that's out there. Judging that guy's toughness, that guy's character. When all he's done is proven that he will not give up. That's all he's proven. Couple concussions, bunch of you wussies. Oh, he's got to quit football. That guy wasn't going to quit football. And I told you back then, he never thought of quitting football. That's other people. Hey, yeah, well, you should think about it. That guy was never ever that never even crossed his mind. Does he have to deal with the conversation with the wife and the family? Yeah, of course. But are you, any of you out there, do you think, when you're a man, you do things, that you are committed to? And so it just, to me, is, did Brian Flores leave, permanent scars? Oh man, I just find it like, if you really think that, it's because you just never believed in the kid and you're just trying to grasp. That's all you're doing, because you have zero proof that he's not tough as hell. I have all the proof. All I've seen is pure toughness. I mean, how many people screw up their ankles and say, no, let's just put a titanium rod around it, and so it won't happen again. Like, you don't hear that kind of stuff. That's just like, whatever it takes. It's Imagine Dragons. I'll do whatever it takes. Anyway, I just love the adrenaline in my face. I do whatever it takes. And that's Tua. But some of you can't imagine that he's a dragon. Fire-breathing dragon. But you will. You will. Don't forget, you can join our platform if your company wants to be a sponsor of one of our segments or travel or anything along those lines, pre- and post-game show. Our business line, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Leave a message. We will get back to you if you're interested. It is not a request line, a talk line, or anything. It is a business line. Okay? Speaking of business, Welton Rayom. And folks, we are in the middle of the storm season, and it goes till November. But it's not just storms, as you can see up in the Northeast with all that massive flooding that was going on. Jesus, man, it can happen anywhere at any time. And if it does, you're going to need the right lawyers. Welton Rayom folks are the right lawyers. They have their own adjusters. And, you know, you hear stories all the time. You think you can take on the insurance companies. You and I cannot. We don't know all the laws. We don't know all the loopholes. And guess what? They do. And they take advantage of us constantly. And they'll do whatever they can. They'll do whatever it takes to not pay you. Okay? And not repair the things that they're supposed to. And when they send their adjusters, they're working for the insurance company, not for you. Welton Rayom has their own adjusters. They're working for you. They're going to make sure you get what you deserve. And they call the insurance company. They handle everything and anything with the insurance company. You don't. So call them 954-966-4646. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. So many of our listeners have dealt with Welton Rayom now for the last 3 years. Whatever it is, man, it's been accidents. It's been condo damage, home damage, personal injury, bankruptcy, all kinds of things they've been called for. So please reach out to them. They can help you. 954-966-4646. Terrell Owens was a warrior too. I remember him playing with a, yeah. Terrell Owens was an asshole, and he was a problem child in the locker room and like that. But on the field, he played it all out, man. He left it all out there, and playing with that broken foot, he had like 10 catches, 150 yards in the Super Bowl. Yeah, it was stupid. Yeah, he's a conflicting type of dude, because never any off the field issues, because he's not that dude. He's not a criminal. He's not a bad dude or anything like that. Great player on the field. It was like locker room shit, bro. It's the weirdest thing, man. The weirdest thing with Terrell Owens. Just odd, man. Odd. But nobody can ever question his toughness. You are correct about that. Guy's always, his body is like freakish, man. Keeps himself in great, great shape. Horn Dog says, Flores did permanently scar us. He set our fins and Tua back 2 seasons with his narcissism. Yeah, you're right. Big O, how come you haven't tried having Tua for an interview? I'm not sure you've mentioned this before. Just curious. The chances of me getting Tua are slim to none. I'm not part of the NFL, I'm not part of CBS or Fox that are paying NFL rights. I'm not part of the local station that has the flagship rights, which would be 940. I think Joe maybe has had Tua on. He's the voice of the team. So he has a better chance than I do. So yeah, it's it's going to be tough for me to get. The only way I could get Tua is if I get him myself somewhere on the side or whatever. Somebody has to reach him also. And although, not for nothing that you mentioned this, but I had a conversation with somebody in the building last week in the PR department. And they're going to give me some players. We're going to get some Dolphin players on this year. So I've been working on them. And she goes, as long as you don't ask me for, the obvious Tua and, Tyreek or something like that, like the top players. And I go, but I go to them, I go to the person. I said, but Tua's safe on my show. And the person says, oh, I know Tua's safe on your show, but I have, whatever. And so they have their own thing to deal with, So if they give somebody that is not paying NFL rights Tua, the people that are paying NFL rights that probably haven't gotten Tua, all over the place, they'll start complaining. You understand? So it's just one of those things that the only way I could really get Tua would probably be through his agent or something like that, where I can, reach out or something like that. But that's about the only way. You know what I mean? And again, I don't know how much or if at all Tua knows, even if I exist. Okay? Because obviously I am clearly one of his left tackles in the media. I'm actually the number one left tackle in the media, I'm going to say, for Tua, because I have never wavered about his abilities. So, and just whatever it is, it is what it is, and that's fine, bro. Listen, man, I've made this for 34 years, and I haven't gotten the players all the time and stuff like that. That's never been what I've been about, So if I get the players, it's kind of a bonus. But if anybody tunes into our show, you're tuning in because I'm going to give you the brutal honesty that you're not really going to get anywhere else. You can't get it anywhere else because everywhere else has got to deal with the politics. I don't care about the politics or the politics of politics too, apparently. Let's see. What do we have here? Remember that T.O. video of him working out? Yeah, in the driveway. Just stupid shit that, like, he's not a bad human being, but he was a really, like, difficult teammate, and he made it difficult in the locker room and on his players, on his teammates, but in a completely different way that we've seen, without actually having the police involved. Or violence or sexual assault or like the stuff that, whatever, mental issues, whatever it is. He was just an immature person for a certain part of his being it just didn't connect, In my lifetime, the greatest warrior, in my opinion, is Evander Real Deal Holyfield, first undefeated cruiser and heavyweight champ, only 4-time heavyweight champion, heart of a lion, no matter who it was. Yeah, that's a good one. I could put Sugar Ray Leonard there too, because he went to many weight classes and stood toe and fought all the best of the best. So it didn't matter if it was Duran or it was Hearns or it was Hagler, whoever it was, he took them all. He took them all on and beat most. So I don't know. But yeah, that's a pretty good one, no doubts. What else do we have going on? Our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Let's talk about Alan Blanco and the great people at 3A Graphics, custom printing and embroidery. Friday night, Dolphins wrap up the preseason. It's gone by quickly. 7:30, Dolphins and Buccaneers. Saturday, Chase Stadium. Inter Miami will host Cincinnati. Dude, what a way to start the second half of this season and finish off this stretch, to start with the marquee game of the weekend with those two leading in the East. So it's a huge game for Inter Miami. I would imagine no Messi for that game. We'll see. There you go. All right. That is your 3A Graphics Sports calendar. Reach out to them, 786-618-1443. And make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. They will definitely take care of you. For Dolphins practice, let's give you the latest there and see if there's any kind of news. Jalen Phillips is not practicing. He has no helmet on, which makes a lot of sense. I was telling somebody when he was practicing yesterday, I go, he's not practicing tomorrow. You're going to practice him over the next couple of weeks with your own people and all of that, and then get him ready for the regular season. Jordan Poyer is practicing with a thumb brace on 11-on-11s. Okay? So that is good stuff there. Calais Campbell picked up a sack of Baker Mayfield. Storm Duck is starting in place of Jalen Ramsey. So that's good to see. Jonnu Smith caught 2 impressive TDs and one-on-ones in the joint practices. Channing Tindall had a pass deflection. Omar says he seems to be turning the corner. Okay. About a week and a half behind us. It's all right. Tanner Connor, Jordy Fortson are in regular jerseys. Not sure how much they'll be working. They're kind of injured anyways. What else? Jalen Waddle is practicing today. Okay. Barry Jackson has a note. He says, remember, Dolphins can bring back 2 players off IR who won't count against the initial 53 as long as they IR them during the roster trimming early next week. Craycraft, one obvious option of those 2 slots. Anthony Walker among the other options. Benito Jones' situation needs clarity too. Among others, the 53-man roster, 6 others that can come off the IR during the season. So a total of 8 can come off the IR. Each must miss at least 4 games. Players already placed on IR are out for the season. Okay. So Tyreek is working individual drills, and he's in pads, and not seeing anything on his right hand, according to Chris Perkins. OBJ is out in practice, but in shorts and a jersey, not in pads like everybody else. So those are some of the notes that I am seeing here. Chop Robinson just drove Wirfs into the fake QB. Nice job. There you go. All right. So those are some notes from practice going on. Give you guys the latest with the boys out there covering it. Let's see. Thank you, Adrian, for the compliment. I appreciate it. G. Reed says, I like Storm Duck too, him and McMorris. Yeah, McMorris is going to make this team along with Storm Duck. What else do we have on it? Who makes more money now, Flores or Tua? Well, I mean, to me, none of that matters, bro. It's not about who makes more money. By the way, please smash the hell out of the like button. We got over 200 watching, and there's only 88 likes. I appreciate the 88 that hit it. There's a bunch of you, man. Come on, man. Sean and I work hard every single day for you all. So please, that helps get the algorithms out. You know what I'm saying? The first thing I do whenever I go on YouTube and I watch somebody that I like right away, I hit the like button. Kind of tells me that maybe you're here to use us and not really like us. It's kind of, it's not nice. The U.S. economy adds 818,000 fewer jobs in March. There you go. That's how you do it. Fudge it, baby. Fudge it. What else do we have to talk about in the world of deportes? By the way, just a little offbeat here, just a little different sport in basketball. And I think this is pretty cool. Now, I'm not going to take it to the silly point. That's for other shows and other writers or YouTubers or anything like that. But they quoted a scout, and I'm not talking about a local writer. This is a national article, Jason Burgos with Sportsnaut. And he quotes one of a scout on Khalil Ware. And he says they got a steal with Ware. Everyone questioned his motor at Oregon. Nobody questioned the talent, and the people are going to be disappointed they didn't take him. Oh, I'm sorry, by the way. It's aggregated from Anthony Chang. My bad there. So Anthony Chang got it for the Herald. His shot blocking was off the charts in summer league. He got up and down the floor. He's always been considered a talented offensive player, but he did it more consistently than people expected. He really shined. This is going to give Bam the ability not to be the 5 full time. And I'm glad that the scout didn't go crazy with, that'll give Bam the opportunity to go. Bam's not going to be Mr. Big Score or anything. That's just not who he is. So I'm not saying it for that. Okay. But I am saying it for the Miami Heat and for you Heat fans out there. Okay. I think it would be a great thing if they're able to trade Jimmy Butler. As you all know, I've been on this bandwagon for over a year now that you should have traded Jimmy for picks. And if somehow or another, like Ira and I were talking about on Monday, if you're fortunate enough to be able to trade him in the trading deadline, then so be it. Go ahead. But one thing's for sure. It's time for the Heat to kind of turn the corner and go with a real youth movement. And go with, hey, let's go amass a bunch of picks. And then if the right stud becomes available, young stud that we can trade for and trade all those picks for, then we do it. If not, you're starting to hit on your picks all the time now. Well, then, dude, keep drafting. And keep drafting good players. And keep loading up that team. And with the best coach in the planet, you're going to be pretty damn good. I get it. You still need stars to get over the top. But if you keep drafting this way, somebody's going to turn into a star. Somebody. I don't know if it'll be Jaquez. I don't know if it'll be Khalil Ware. I don't know, dude. I don't know if it'll be Pele Larson. I have no freaking clue. But if you keep going this way into the well, and if you could get the picks for Jimmy, then all of a sudden you've got extra picks. You never know. One of them could end up in the lottery. Man, this is what you want to do. And then since you can draft, and you're doing a good job of drafting, and you're doing an exceptional job of developing, I would rather be that team than be this team that is counting on the Jimmy Butler thing. And let me tell you something. I'm not going to sit here and lie to myself. Some of you out there love to lie to yourselves. The Jimmy Butler era is incredibly successful. Yes. And also incredibly lucky. Okay? Very good. He did an exceptional job. Spo is God. No doubt about it. But you had the bubble year, and then you had another year where you had a Giannis and an Embiid injury. And that's the reason why you made the finals. Okay? And at least in the bubble year, the Bam and Dragon injury, because the Lakers were like the easiest opponent you could have faced in the finals. Let's be honest. After those two guys, everything else, come on, man. And the way the Heat were playing, the confidence and all, they had a chance. Okay, because that wasn't a great champion that won that year. That was a weak champion. So Miami had a shot. Now, when they got to it after they got through Embiid and Giannis, and they got to Denver spanked them so hard and sent them home because they didn't belong anywhere near there. So you had some breaks to help you have the success that you had. It's over. It's time to move on. It's time to turn the page. If you can move Butler, do it. And here's my suggestion, Heat Nation. Stop being so stinking spoiled. Riley and company have gone above and beyond, but their desperation to be great has forced them to trip up on themselves the last 10 years. And they're so desperate trying to turn that corner, and they're not that, it's just not that easy to turn that corner for them because they don't have it. And they keep trying desperation moves. And they're going to need to take a couple of steps back to get back to that point. When they went to 2008 and reset and prepared for 2010, that's how they did it the right way. How they keep doing it now, where they keep trying to find the shortcut, they keep burying themselves into the abyss. That's what they're doing. And they're lucky they have the best coach on the planet that can maximize the worst situations possible. Even when you give him a bunch of scrubberinis, he can still find a way to go 31-10 in the second half of a season. But that's only because you have Eric Spoelstra. So, Heat fans, please stop being spoiled. It's time to kind of take a step back and understand you had every break in the book. Also, not only was the Jimmy Butler era successful, it was incredibly lucky too. Lucky enough to put you in position, not lucky enough to help you win. Let it go, folks. Let it go. Because it seems to me like going the other way might be the better way for the Miami Heat. Anyway. Just wanted to throw that out there. Let's see. And don't forget, Big O, Jason Tatum got hurt in Game 7 at Boston. 4 minutes into that game. I'm a Heat fan through and through, but I'm objective. Reality is reality. Exactly. And what I hate, Lenny, is that our Heat Nation has become the most delusional fan base I have ever seen in my life. And the fact that they can't see why you never land a star and you think you're landing a star every time, it's, it's ridiculous. Just is. Riley hasn't landed a star in 20 years, dude. And these are the realities of where they're at. And that's why they need to take a couple of steps back and do things a little differently. People aren't lining up to come to play for the Miami Heat. They're just not. That was a Dwayne Wade thing. And you have Jimmy Butler only because of Dwayne Wade. If not, he doesn't come here. He goes somewhere else again. And it's such a delusional fan base. And it's sad. It really is. It's sad how delusional it is. Let's see. Tony agrees. Got to build through the draft. Ray says it's obvious the Heat need to go younger. They weren't going to go over the top with Jimmy. At least now you get to develop players, keep picks, and cap space. Exactly. That's what I would do. You'll be in the edge of your seat, Tony. Oh, what is True Fin Fan talk about? Farmerism. Okay. You guys are talking boxing. Anyway. Cash App or Venmo, by the way, at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, as always. And let me see where the market is right now. Ooh, 59,386. So it was at 60. So it dumped about $600 right now. I know that Mt. Gox moved like $700 million. So I don't know if there's a little selling pressure. And that selling pressure is what's kept us in this buying zone for a while now. Which, I mean, I'm never going to complain about a buying zone. You know what I'm saying? No reason to complain, ladies and gentlemen. None whatsoever. All right, we talked some Flores. Talked a little Tua. What else did I want to get into? Oh, I have two more things that I want to talk about with the Dolphins. Before I do that, by the way, Caneswear, Miami Fanwear at Caneswear. I do want to tell you a little bit about Brett and Jeff and John and all the great people at Caneswear. They do amazing work. They are monsters. They have become a fabric of South Florida, and sports fans know, man, I want to get some Heat gear. I can go to Caneswear at Miami Fanwear. I want to get some Canes gear. I can get some stuff at Miami Fanwear. I want to get Marlins. I want to get Inter Miami. I want to get a Messi kit. I want to get a Messi shirt. I want to get an Inter Miami flag. I can go to Caneswear. Man, Panthers, you know what? I never bought my Stanley Cup stuff in the craze, but I want to get that hat. They got several styles, all kinds, shirts, hats. They got all kinds of Panther stuff. Get down there at Caneswear, man. Miami Fanwear, 2655 South University Drive. It's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear. They got practically anything and everything with the Canes logo on it. I don't care if you're looking for a sign, a neon sign for the bar, sneakers, bracelets, you name it. They've got it. Shirts. They got probably like 100 different Cane shirts, T-shirts. They got jerseys. They got all kinds of stuff, man. I'm telling you, you are going to love it. The store is heaven. You can go on caneswear.com, and if you order over $99, you will get free shipping. And if you use our code BIG010, whether you order online or in person, you will get 10% off. BIG010 at caneswear.com. All right. There we go. All right, let me go to a little music notes before we go back to some Dolphins talk. Let's go with birthdays today. And we start off always with musicians first. Let's see. Keyless Rogers, singer, born in 1979 on this date. She was once married to rapper Nas. Who else? Budgie, who was in Susie and the Banshees. I only know Susie. I don't really know any of the other. I know that, what's it called? Robert Smith from The Cure once was on Susie and the Banshees for an album. Kim Sledge from Sister Sledge. She was born on this date in 1957. Nick Kane from the American band The Mavericks. Very good band, by the way. Born in 1954. Steve Smith, drummer for Journey. Born on this date in 1954. Joe Strummer, the late Joe Strummer, from The Clash. Singer, songwriter. Born in 1952. We lost him in 2002 to a heart defect. Glenn Hughes, singer for Deep Purple and also Black Sabbath, and Gary Moore, and also Black Country Communion. Singer, bassist, born in 1951 on this date. Hell of a rocker, man. Let's see. Kenny Rogers. It's the wood that makes it good. I miss Kenny Rogers roasters. For the record, I'm a big Kenny Rogers roasters fan. I don't know, man. I really miss it. That and Woves. Those are like two places that I really miss a lot, especially Woves. But he was born on this date in 1938. We lost him in 2020 and at 81 years old of natural causes. I think we would all take 81. Let's see. Count Basie, band leader who worked for Frank Sinatra, was born in 1904. There we go. Let's go with other famous folks celebrating birthdays today. Usain Bolt is 38 years old. Hayden Panettiere, save the cheerleader, save the world. She's 35. You were gonna get. Did you think you were gonna get a Heroes reference on the show today? Casey Musgraves is 36. Brody Jenner is 41. Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain was born in this date in 36, died in 99. Who else is celebrating birthdays? Loretta Devine, movie actress. She is 75. Let's see whose milkshake is bringing all the boys to the yard. Kim Cattrall. She'll bring a lot of milkshakes to bring a lot of boys to the yard. Kim Cattrall. I remember when she was a dog. She's 68 years old today. All right. And by the way, I'm not calling the woman literally a dog, Kim Cattrall. Just in case if you're kind of stupid or you're not really rich in pop culture history. She played a person by the name of Lassie in Porky's. So if you want to find out why they call her Lassie, get her over to the boys' locker room and you'll find out. That's all I can tell you. Okay. All right, Sean, you didn't go to Miami High or Coral Gables Elementary. Why do I say that? Two schools that were used in the filming of Porky's. Anyway, any wrestlers celebrating birthdays today?
There are quite a few. Keith Hart turned 72. Nathan Jones is 55. Trent Seven is 43. Eve turns 40. Rowe of the Viking Raiders is 40. And Minnie Taker, and he also played Minnie Angle, he turns 51 today. Those are your birthdays, August 21st.
Very nice. Very nice. You know what's also very nice? Ho Yoon, baby. Ho Yoon. Thank you, Ho Yoon. You are amazing, bro. Constantly supporting the show, constantly donating. You're awesome, bro. Thank you. That is very nice of you. Says, have a great day. Thank you, my man. I appreciate you. And all of you out there, however it is, hitting the like button, making a donation like Ho Yoon did. Making a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show, Bitcoin or Ethereum also appreciated. Thank you, Ho Yoon. And visit our amazing sponsors like Caneswear. All right, let's go to music history. In 1965, on this day, Rolling Stone started a 3-week run at number 1 on the album charts with Out of Our Heads, their first U.S. chart topper. The record success probably had something to do with the hit single called I Can't Get No Satisfaction. And I try, and I try, and I try. Doing it a little bit like Devo instead. In 1967, the Doors headed to Sunset Sound Studios in Hollywood to begin recording their album Strange Days. And by the way, Sunset Sound Studios is now closed down, but the original keyboard that recorded so many records for so many bands, from the Doors to Journey to the Foo Fighters, and what's it called? God, what's his name from the Foo Fighters? Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl bought the original soundboard from the Sunset Sound Studios, and the amount of there's a special. I think it's called Sunset Sound something. I don't know. You should watch it. And it goes through the history of all the records that were recorded there, like Rumors and others. Just like legendary records. You name it. The Eagles, whatever. I mean, it's history after history after history after history. It was just a place to go, because the sound was one of those things, kind of like down south, that studio that was I think in Mississippi, and it was called I'm trying to remember the name. God, I remember every little stupid thing in the world. It's hard, but there's another studio down south that was also very infamous, like that, very famous, that people wanted to go and record. And there's a special on that one too. And I'm brain farting. Probably somebody will remember it and put it out there for me. But it's really interesting. So check it out. In 1998, Journey played in Kentucky, their first live show with Steve Perry's replacement, new singer Steve Algeri. In 82, U2 singer Bono married his girlfriend of 7 years, Allison Stewart. Bassist Adam Clayton was the best man. In 83, on this date, the Ramones guitarist Johnny Ramone spent 4 hours undergoing brain surgery after being found unconscious on a New York street where he got into a fight. In 2005, synthesizer inventor Robert Moog died at the age of 71 from brain cancer. In 97, Oasis released their third album, Be Here Now. It sold 424,000 copies, becoming the fastest-selling record in British chart history. In 2002, U2 shot the video for their new single, Electric Storm, with actress Samantha Morton in the wee hours of the morning in a French seaside town. In 2003, Fred Durst wrote on Limp Bizkit's website that they had changed the name of the band's upcoming album from Party Sniffer to Results May Vary. And that's what happened today in Musica history. And I got to tell you something. Today's a sad day. I mean, really, it was a sad day yesterday, but I think it's kind of rolling over to today because Jennifer Lopez officially filed for divorce from Ben Affleck. Bennifer no longer. I don't know how we're going to recover from this. Can any other relationship survive if Bennifer can't? Inquiring minds want to know. Now, let me tell you something. There's no doubt in my mind that being married to Jennifer Lopez must be a royal pain in the ass, right? No matter how fine that ass is. And that's a fine ass. Okay? 55 or not, that woman is fine and a half. And obviously that's what, reels you in. The crazy scares you away. But let me defend J-Lo on this one. To a certain extent. I'm not defending her in general. Poor woman. She's just, obviously, she's terrible at relationships. But Ben Affleck, Jennifer Gardner looks normal, dude. She looks beyond normal compared to J-Lo. Okay? Good-looking woman. Looks like she's grounded way more than Hollywood people normally would be. She's not all Hollywood out. She looks like she's family-oriented and all that, and he effed that up. So these are two people, and you know somebody like that in your life. Look, my dad, rest in peace. He was that dude. He was that dude. He sucked at relationship. He was married 3 times. Okay? And rest in peace. I love you. But he sucked at it. He would ruin all his relationships. And some people are just like that. And it doesn't have to be all about cheating. It doesn't have to be about drugs or alcohol. It could be about personality. It could be about just not wanting to be in a relationship in the end, not truly committing and all that other stuff. And, it's just, there's a lot of reasons. Some people just really are not meant to be tied down. For whatever reason, they want to try it. They think they can. And I think that's what these people are. I think J-Lo and Ben are two people that want to be in a relationship, but they don't know how to truly commit to a relationship. They don't understand the compromise it takes to be in a relationship. It's almost like there has to be complete capitulation, not compromise. And so you cannot be in a relationship where somebody is completely capitulated and you're not. And they're all in, and they're always supporting you, and they're there all for you. And then you're not the same for them. And I think that's the problem with those two right there. And I'm sure you know somebody in your family, your friends, somebody that they are just a detriment to relationships, period. For whatever reason. It doesn't matter. There's not one specific reason. Of course, you know the destructive people. But those people are different. That's not what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that person that finds a way to screw up the relationship in a different way every single time because they're just bad at it. When I see J-Lo and Ben, and then you look at their history, I just see two people that, they don't really know what it takes to really be committed because they're too involved in themselves first and foremost. And if you're going to be involved with yourself, part of being a relationship is to be selfless. That's kind of the idea. Sacrifices are going to be made. You're going to do things you don't want to do. And you're going to go through rough patches. You just can't be around for the good moments. And then, it's kind of like that dad. And I'm sure there's some moms that do it too. They show up for a birthday, but they're gone most of the time. They're never calling their kid. They never get, but they'll send them $100 or they'll send them to some good school or they'll give them some things, some materials, but they don't make the commitment. And so then you you try to be a father, but you really are not a father. You understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that. You want to be in a relationship, but you aren't really willing to commit to that relationship, and go all the way in. And as long as those two are still too much into themselves, they'll never be able to have a relationship. Okay. And as long as you're a father and a mother and you're too much into your own self or your career or whatever, you'll never be a great father or mother. Same thing. That's all. No big deal. But I just, we can have fun with it. But all kidding aside, I kind of see, what's wrong in that situation. By the way, if you're a Jane's Addiction fan, they have added new dates in their North American tour. So they start in Arkansas. It's interesting. They go Oklahoma, Louisiana. They do visit our beautiful state of Florida. They go to Jacksonville, Daly's Place. I don't like the acoustics in that place. Tampa, Mid-Florida Credit Union, Hollywood at the Hard Rock. They go to Raleigh at the Red Hat Amphitheater. They go to Virginia, Jersey, New York at the Rooftop at Pier 17, Boston at the Leda Bank Pavilion, Bridgeport, Milwaukee, Indianapolis, Denver, bunch of other dates, Seattle. They end up in San Francisco and Los Angeles. But there's other dates there just in case. If you're a Jane's Addiction fan, they have announced more dates. And maybe, just maybe, they have a city near you or they're coming to your city. So if you're a Jane's Addiction fan, check it out, baby. Check it out. Let's see. What else do we have? That's why so much divorce. Most people have a problem with selflessness. Yeah. Yeah. The Snortatorium was great. Really? Big Bob, I never understood that. Like, I never understood the person that got wasted and went to a concert. That I never understood either. But, okay, you want to smoke a joint? Yeah, that puts you in a groovy mood and you're enjoying your music. You want to have a couple of drinks and get a little buzz, not drunk. A little buzz and groove, okay. Cocaine. That sounds like a weird drug for music. Like every time I've seen people do cocaine, they're pacing floors like a country song. Their eyes look like they're completely bugged out. They're paranoid. They're sweaty. I don't know. That doesn't seem like music drugs to me. I've heard people call it the Snortatorium before, but I never understood that. It doesn't make sense to me. And if you snorted at a concert, like, what's wrong with you? I want to say, not just because you're doing cocaine, but you're doing cocaine at a concert? Just doesn't seem like it's something that jives. I don't know. I just, that's weird to me. Those people can't stay still and enjoy. Like once you start snorting, you take ADD to another level. How are you going to, that just doesn't, it doesn't seem like it makes sense to me. You know what I mean? And it's funny because I went to the Sportatorium a ton and I went with a bunch of big groups at times. I don't remember anybody doing cocaine. I remember smoking. I remember drinking. I remember a couple people doing some lewds, because lewds were still lewds in those days. Rare 714, right? I think it was. And Lemon, right, was another one, right? I remember that. But I don't remember people doing cocaine at the Sportatorium. That's like, why? I remember cocaine at the discos, but again, there was an agenda there, you know? So that's different. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. For any of you Coke people, how would you, it just doesn't seem to me like, you know, not an LSD guy either, or lewd guy or something, but like, okay, I can understand. Maybe that might help a little bit. I don't know. That might, you know, acid was another thing that I remember seeing people do. But wow, Coke just doesn't seem like something like, you know, it seems like you do Coke and you're going to end up in a fight right away if you go to a concert. Oh man, it's weird. It seems weird. What do we have here? Big old that Moog synthesizer sure changed music for the better. First time I heard it, it was Lucky Man by ELP. I wondered what the hell that sound was. LOL. Yeah. And Moog, Moog was, didn't Moog do stuff with this guy from UFO, the singer? What's his name? Jesus Christ, bro. Now I got to remember the UFO lead singer. Phil. Oh, it is Phil Moog. Mog. Okay, that's what it was. That's where I'm confusing it. So Phil did an album with somebody else. That's what it was. So it's the same kind of name, but it was two different people. My bad. Let's see. Nico Jones. Thank you, sir, for the love and the super chats. Just a small donation for the Dolphins insight you provide, and no doubting you truly have connections inside that organization that many don't have. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Just go by the track record, right? And we try, man. We try to give you the best info possible, and we normally do, actually. Big O, even the guys performing are doing cocaine. Yeah, that's a good point. But they're kind of working. So I don't know, man. God, it's weird. It just doesn't, it just seems like a drug to me that doesn't like groove with music. You know what I'm saying? Being around music, I just like, I get somebody that, you know, has a couple of drinks. I get somebody that, you know, smokes a J. I get that, you know, that's that gets you in a little bit of a groove. But God, that drug seems so weird to go to a concert for, you know. God, every time I just remember the 80s so much and discos and just seeing the guys that you could tell were on that shit, you know, constantly. So it just didn't seem like something that it doesn't seem like those people are having fun there. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? Just doesn't seem like those people are having fun. And you want to do things when you're in a fun environment that maybe groove with a fun environment. So a little bit of a high is a fun environment. That paranoia, that oh man, that intensity that those people had. Dude, I remember seeing in the clubs, the fights, it was crazy, dude. Crazy. So I don't know. Yeah. Right. No, I got the Mog Moog. I got it all mixed up, Brett. My bad. Every time I hear someone talking about cocaine, I think that smug dude in Die Hard, Hans. Right. Hans, Bubby, I'm your white knight. Exactly, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like you always think of like you just become this weird dude when you do that stuff, you know? And cannabis is best for music in a social setting. Yeah. I would think cannabis is always good for music. That, to me, goes hand in hand. A drink or two goes hand, not drunk. Okay, there's nothing wrong with having a little buzz. I don't have a problem with that. I think people that know how to drink like that, those are the smart people. You know, getting drunk, bro, getting plastered. I never understood that too. I've always told the story: Power Slave, Iron Maiden, Hollywood Sportatorium. We're all there. We're like, I don't know, 8 rows back or whatever, and we're literally standing on the chairs. Like the back, like this part of the chair, we're standing on one end and on the other row. So your legs are wide open like that. So we can look over and look down. Anybody that's been to the Sporto, because sometimes you could stand on the seat or try to stand, but all the chairs were tied together so you could like kind of balance it out. And as long as everybody else was sitting on the sitting or standing, then you had the leverage, of course. So we're standing. Some of us are standing in 2 chairs. Some of us are standing on 1 chair or whatever, depending on how tall you are. And right behind us, there's a guy that spent the entire concert throwing up into a cup. Like, why'd you get drunk, bro? How do you enjoy anything drunk? How do you enjoy that? I never understood that. I can remember concerts since I was a child. Why? Because I wasn't wasted. The hell do I want to get wasted for, bro? Oh, man, no, yeah, I don't remember. I remember buddies of mine. Oh, dude, I don't remember last night. Well, this happened, and that happened. And it's like, why'd you pay for it? Why'd you go? Stay home and get wasted, bro. You know, it's a lot cheaper. Makes no sense. Let's see. Big O, you dance all night. I get it. You're a Mary Jane guy. Well, I definitely would choose the Mary Jane over cocaine, my brother. Yes. And over alcohol and over everything. Pretty much. I can be completely honest with you about that. Yeah. It's the least hurtful thing that you can do compared to all those other things. So yeah. Big deal. So what? Wasn't Isaac Hayes one of the first to use the Moog synthesizer? I'm not exactly sure. I'd be talking out of place there. I don't know. I don't know who was first. Second, third, not exactly sure. 46, never smoked weed, never done cocaine, drink. Hell yeah, but no drugs for me. I find that a sign of weakness. Respect everyone, but that's just how I was raised. Exactly. That's it. That's fine. The movie The Substitute was also filmed in Miami High. Yes. I think my wife was going to school while they were filming it at that time. Yeah, that they put up the fence and everything at Miami High. Yeah. Some scenes of Porky's was filmed at Miami High. A couple scenes at Coral Gables Elementary. That's on Ponce. And obviously the town, the Porky's town, was in Key Biscayne in the 3rd bridge. You had to go down and then make a left after you went down about a mile or something, mile and a half, and then you made a left. And the little town from Porky's was there. It was there for several years because they filmed Porky's 2. So they kept it around. I remember we used to have bonfires back there. Back in the 80s, early 80s. Rick James said cocaine was a hell of a drug. All it did for him was ensure he got an ass whooping from Charlie Murphy. No drugs for me, but I've known many a person. Yeah, the liquor is, bro, the liquor is terrible for you. Liquor is one of the worst things that you can do. So, and Brett says it right. Moderation. There you go. Have a drink or two, not have a whole bunch of drinks. That's not good, ladies and gentlemen. That's not good. You kind of want to stay away from that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Where's Bitcoin at? 59,000 right now is Bitcoin. All right, 59,648. So it's hanging around the 5960 area. All right, what else do I want to talk about Dolphins wise? Okay. I want to talk about the secret weapon for the Miami Dolphins that apparently is a secret. And apparently people don't know about this secret. And people are talking about other things. And they need to talk about one thing that is imperative. And why it's a conversation. I know my man Chris Perkins had the article talking about, maximizing your roster and all that kind of stuff, right? And has Flo done it better than McDaniel or anything like that? And let me tell you something. Neither guy has maximized his roster. So if Flo played Tua, let's say he played Fitz for the first 2 games, 3 games, then you bench him and you play Tua the rest of the way for the next 3 years, right? He was here for 3, I think it is. Do you not end up winning more games? No, 2 years. Do you not end up winning more games? Probably, right? Because you're not going to win more games with Fitz or with Brissett. Okay. Last year, did you maximize things last year? Because you could have blitzed Will Levis and you might have won the Tennessee game. You could have blitzed Lamar Jackson. Maybe you win that game. Could have changed. You never know. Mike McDaniel could have known what down it was in Buffalo 2 years ago. You might have won that game. Right? Maybe the Green Bay game, Tua doesn't get injured if you stick to the run. The Buffalo and the Green Bay game that year, you were averaging 7 and 9 yards a carry. You didn't stick to it. So if you're McDaniel and you constantly lose challenges, and you don't know when to stick to the run game, and you don't know what down it is, did you maximize? If you're Flo, you don't even know what quarterback it is. Did you maximize it? You couldn't build an offensive staff. You had several offensive line coaches, offensive coordinators. Did you maximize it? I would say no. That's where I would disagree with Perkins. Do you want to know what the real secret weapon is? That I think everybody keeps overlooking. Except me, of course, because I keep talking about it, and I've been talking about it from day one. The secret weapon is called Chris Greer, Marvin Allen, and Reggie McKenzie. That's your secret weapon. I'll throw Brandon Shore in because of the contract negotiations. So you've had 10-9-9 in wins the last 3 years. You could have won more if you used the right quarterback, if you were actually coaching right, and those kind of things. So who's providing the talent? After all, Flo didn't want Tua. So, I mean, who's providing the talent? The front office. Front office is going to give you easily talent for 9 or 10 wins. It's up to you. Can you do better? Can you maximize what the front office is giving you? Because even with injuries, they go and find people to fill in throughout the season. They find people off the street. They find undrafted people. Look at this year. Now we've got Storm going to make the team. You're going to try to sneak Isaiah Johnson through the practice, to the practice squad, if you can, because the Syracuse kid has kind of opened up eyes, right? So, it just, McMorris, second year now, shining. It's just the front office is the real bomb. These coaches are still young. Flo had a lot of shit to figure out, not just his people skills. He could not build an offensive staff. How do you maximize if you don't know how to build an offensive staff? Not exactly sure. And I look at McDaniel's staff, and it's much more complete than Flo's staff. So I would tell you that the secret weapon for the Miami Dolphins is the front office. And they do an awesome job, overall. And as they continue, it's only going to get better. And eventually I'll see some of the things that I really want to see is like a couple of really nasty studs on the offensive line. That's what we need. That's the next hurdle that they've got to overcome, but they'll be fine. They're getting by with what they have now, and they're doing what some of the coaches want them to do. So it is what it is. But at one point or another, I think there'll be some kind of a heavy commitment somewhere in the draft in the next year or two on that line again in the early part of the draft. But outside of that, the front office is the bomb. They're the ones that are going to give you the talent to get there automatically. That floor is there. The question is, as a coach, are you special enough to get past that threshold? Because this league is made for you to win 7-8 games. Easily. Talent-wise, it's not that much of a difference. Even if you screwed up in the draft, you could hang around 500. Okay, so now, can you get that 9th or 10th win? Okay, so now you're doing a little better than average. Okay, now are you special? Can you get into the playoffs? Can you now start winning in the playoffs? That's when you really start to separate yourself. And part of that is being able to coach up your talent, know what quarterback to play, and build a staff. So I'm not exactly sure that Brian Flores really maximized when you can't build a staff and you also played the wrong quarterback at times and berated the only good quarterback that you had. And when I look at McDaniel, well, I could pick at things the last 2 years where he should have won another game or two, where he should have done better, and he screwed up. And it's on him a lot of times. So I would tell you, don't worry about it. Dick Vermeil cried his way to a title. Tom Flores and Tony Dungy were cigar store mannequins. John Madden and Jimmy Johnson were maniacs on the sidelines. Bill Walsh was an intellect. A lot like McDaniel is an intellect, but he does have humor. He brings a lighter side to it. I don't think Bill Walsh was that. But Bill Walsh was completely different than all the other guys. There's no right way or wrong way to do it. But you do have to get results. And Tom Flores and Tony Dungy, they had zero emotions on the sidelines. And they have 3 Super Bowls amongst themselves. So I've witnessed every kind of coach win it all. But you've got to be the guy that knows how to get the results. One way or the other, I don't give a shit. There's no right way or wrong way. There just isn't. It's all about results. And in the end, nobody will question that McDaniel sounds like a surfer or a stoner or whatever if he starts winning in the playoffs. That's all. No, they stopped worrying about Dick Vermeil crying after every press conference. We literally had an NFL coach, for you youngins that don't know anything about Dick Vermeil. Like, he cried, I don't know, 70% of the time after games, when they would ask him about certain players and things like that he cares so much about the player and their sacrifices and all that. Like, it really freaking hit him, dude, emotionally. Like, he would, and it was, there was no bullshit there. Like, that was real on his part, you know? And it was a beautiful part about Dick Vermeil, but a lot of people blamed him for like they thought, oh, well, that's soft. And then when he gets to St. Louis, I think I told the story yesterday, the day before, that they hated him because he had 3-hour practices. And they were complaining. So it's interesting. But the front office is the real deal here. They're the ones that know how to get it done, man. They're the reasons. Acura Pembroke Pines, by the way, folks, they have got it going on in 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. The 2025 Integra in stock, $349 a month, and immediate delivery right now. 2025 RDX 2024, $399 a month. You can get 3.9% financing for 60 months. The ZDX is in stock. They've got it 0.9% financing for 72 months, man. And Conquest or Loyalty lease $369. All other approved leases $479, which is still an absolute steal for that vehicle. It gets like 320 miles to the full charge. So you get a charger at home, and you only have to charge it a couple times a week. I mean, give me a break, dude. It's nothing. And by the way, FP&L and the state give you like 3 different options there too to get your charger, and very affordable one too. There's one that's really affordable. It's like you pay like a flat fee of $29 a month, and you charge all you want or something like that. It's a pretty cool deal. I've been looking into it because eventually I'm going to get myself an electric SUV for sure. All right. Let's see. Big O, how would you classify Hank Stram? I always thought he was one hell of a coach in his time. I would call him like an emotional guy. You know, Sid Gilman is like Bill Walsh, intellectual. So yeah, Stram was more of an emotional guy, you know. But again, smart too at the same time. But led with a lot of emotion and a lot of talking and rah-rah and all that. He had a lot of personality. Hank Stram had a boatload of personality. He was so good, man. So good. Great communicator with players. And he was a great communicator in a time that there was a huge transition because the AFL made the big move of bringing in lots of black players. Not like the NFL that had a limited number of black players. No. So all of a sudden now you had multiple cultures clashing. So yeah, definitely one of those deals. Oscar says, I disagree with you, Big O. Shula did it the right way. And where did I say Shula did it the wrong way? What's there to disagree? I said there's no right way. And I gave examples of all kinds of different coaches. And Shula falls in the line of a hard ass. You know, there's no other, there's no right way or wrong way. I think you didn't understand what I was talking about. actually. Lombardi was always yelling at players. Bum Phillips was a good old boy. Players coach. Landry was another Tom Flores, Tony Dungy. Yes. No emotion on the sidelines. None whatsoever. He just walked around with that fedora up and down the sidelines. And just like he was like by the way, Landry, I would say Landry and I'm going to say Landry and Bill Walsh, actually, not Landry and Van Gundy and Tom Flores. No. I'm wrong there. He is more like Bill Walsh. Very, very cerebral. Yeah. So definitely I'll go in that direction. Let's see. What year will Cam Cameron get in the Hall of Fame? He's not there yet? How is Cam Cameron not in the Hall of Fame already? What kind of crap is that, bro? That's an injustice of all injustice, if I can say it that way. By the way, thank you all on IG. I see EJD there. I see Joe, Harold. Thank you all out there checking us out on IG. I appreciate you. Very, very much, man. Very much. Joe Gibbs, no offense. 2 shoes, won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different. Yes, that to me will always be the greatest accomplishment by any coach in the NFL is Joe Gibbs. Players have more freedoms this day, just like the NBA. Yeah, I would say so. All right, folks, we are out of here. We appreciate everyone supporting the hell out of the show. Please smash the hell out of the like button before you're gone, before you check out. And if you're listening to the show at any time, you can send in a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. Appreciate all of you out there as always. We thank, of course, the great Sean Stanley. We're back tomorrow afternoon, okay, because we're back to Hialeah Park tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So we'll have some fun. Sean and I will be out there rocking and rolling. Come on by and say hi. Friday, we're at Acura, right? We're at Acura on Friday, right? Correct? Or is it next Friday, right? Yeah, next Friday. No, that's right. Yeah, we have one more Friday. That's right. That is correct. Yeah, because we have a 31st in this month. So there we go. No, we have a 30th, right? No, there is a 31st in this month. Yes. July is the 30th. I mean, September is the 30th. That's how it is. That's right. That right. So we will be at in studio on Friday at 10 a.m. So tomorrow, Hialeah Park. And don't forget that they've got the $100 no regret first bet at Hialeah Park. So take advantage of that. You could use our QR code so you could get to that, or go to the website, open up your account. If you already have a Hard Rock account, use a different email or phone number to open up that account, or use that QR code and get that $100 no regret first bet. And remember, they're giving away that Alfa Romero. You have another 10 days to get entries. Every time you play the slots, you get entries to win that Alfa Romero. And you got to be present on the night of the 31st at 1 a.m., which is really the first. And if you're there, you have a better chance of winning, because not everybody goes. A little secret, just so you know. Not everybody goes. So go. I'm always there. I'm trying to win the car. Anyway, thanks to Sean Stanley. We'll see you tomorrow in the afternoon. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.